That's a lawsuit.
That's an unfair labor practice.
That's one of the things that I would put on my list of potential war crimes.
Yeah.
That's against the Geneva Convention, I'm pretty sure.
Science rules.
Nye the Science Guy.
Welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast coming at you from the local 218 studios. I am, of course, Mayor Dave Badeaux of the city of Brainerd, and with me, as always, is my brother.
That's why nobody sees my hair.
Yep. Say something stupid. That's actually say something stupid again.
No, thank you.
Gabriel Johnson is also with us.
Dave, how are you?
As always, I'm doing excellent. How are you doing?
I'm well.
All right. Should we just get started?
Let's do some theme songs.
Let's get started. This week, we are going to do a little bit of draft day. TV theme song edition. All right, so this episode is all about TV theme songs, the ones that you may think are the best, maybe just some ones that just stick in our memories and stick out. And we are going to go ahead and do a draft. As always, we have 12 selections to go through. Each person must select 3 from the 12, but also can go off of the board one time and select a random one that we have not chosen as well. Are we ready to just take a look at what we got here?
What do we got?
Okay, so the ones that we've put on the board, and this is not necessarily the greatest theme songs, but in our eyes, iconic and ones worth talking about. We have Cheers, Inspector Gadget, The Office, The Sopranos, Fresh Prince, Mission Impossible, Gilligan's Island, Coach, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Ducktales, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Full House. Any comments to make off the top?
That's a pretty good slate of theme songs.
It's pretty all right.
Scott seems less enthused about the selections we've made.
I think there's some duds.
You think there's some duds?
I think there's some duds.
Okay, so don't say what they are, because we'll get to a point.
I just won't pick those ones.
Well, not only will you not pick them, but then you can also call people out for making those selections as well. So, Gabe, you have gotten the first selection. What will your selection be in the iKnowBadeaux TV theme show?
I knew you were going to say theme show. I've been waiting for you to say it since you just stumbled a little bit at the beginning. I was like, he almost said theme show.
TV theme song draft.
So, I'm a big fan of theme songs that tell you a story.
Okay.
So, the one that starts out with, now, this is a story.
Oh!
I'm going first off the board. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's theme song, Yo Home Bel-Air.
I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel-Air.
Oh, is that what it's called?
That's what it's called.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It was written by Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff, of course,
Yes.
and was released as a single.
Yes.
B-side, parents just don't understand.
Oh, the B-side?
The B-side, that's 2 hits right there.
Give us a breakdown, selection purposes.
So I have a trouble reading between the lines on innuendo or anything like that. So I really like it when people give it to me straight. And the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air tells you exactly what happened, exactly why he is where he is, and what he's doing there. And I can appreciate that.
What's your favorite line from the intro?
Now, this is a story.
That is pretty good. I'm a big fan, and it's just because I just watched it again, where he just gets out of the taxi and says, "Smell you later."
Yo home, smell you later.
Down to the cabin, yo home, smell you later.
Excellent choice, Scott. You said a bunch of duds, but I know that's like one of your favorites.
Oh, it's number one.
I
It
figured
was
so
not
much.
my number one, but I knew it wouldn't be around when it came back.
Yeah, you're not getting that one away from Scott. All right, well then let's move on. Scott, Fresh Prince has been selected. What are you going with?
Okay. I am going to go with Mission Impossible.
Fucking damn it. God,
Mission
fucking damn it.
Impossible.
God, what is this? You guys are just, where everyone's just selecting everyone else's options. All right, why are you selecting Mission Impossible?
Well, because it's awesome. I mean, I don't think I need to say any more than that. It's iconic.
Yes.
Everybody knows it.
Yes.
It's just great.
All right, well, that sucks because that literally was going to be my first selection, and I will say that I have a favorite version. Do you have a favorite version? Because there's the 2 different TV shows and then the film version.
I'm most familiar with the film version.
So the first one from the 60s.
They're not all that different, though, are they?
No, the first one from the 60s is the Wall of Sound with the Wrecking Crew. So it's got that horns, high on the horns, but it's also really high on like a hand drum, like a bongo. It's got a boom, 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 boom sound going to it. The show came back in the 80s. I think it was like 87 or 89, one of the two. And has more of an 80s drum sound to it, and it just right out the gate, it's like, no, this is different. A little bit.
How much synth?
A little synth, but not a lot.
No?
It's still very, very similar.
Subtle synth.
Subtle synth is a great term for that. But I would agree. And I think it's Danny Elfman did the original movie, 1996. And he looked at it and said, you know what, we're going to kind of combine those 2 sounds a little bit. And then it's got a little bit of James Bond in there as well, I would say. It's got kind of a James Bondy sound to it. It's just fantastic. And I love that show. So I'm actually really pissed because I really wanted to talk about it.
Well, too damn bad. Pick something else.
I love that show. That show's awesome. In the 80s when it came back out, I was a big fan of it. Pretty young, I think. So it was either 87 or 89, one of those 2. But then there was also the reruns from the 60s show. I watched tons of Mission Impossible. And then when the movie came out, I was excited. Nobody that I was friends with had any idea what Mission Impossible was. I was like, it's the greatest thing in the world. And it ended up being a fantastic movie, too. So, you, Scott. Mission Impossible is off the board. Okay, well, I got to pick 2 in a row then. And I'm going to agree. Now this whole selection of theme songs, it looks dire to me. just depressing. But I'm going to go right off the bat, and I'm going to do 2 back to back, but my first is going to be Ducktales.
That's a good choice.
Rewrite history, DuckTales. Woo. Every day that I've been making DuckTales. Woo.
We talked before we got started about how we were pulling these up. Basically, just so everyone knows, we decided to do this last night and then all spent the last, 8 hours?
At least 4.
Listening to TV theme songs and texting each other back and forth. But there's certain ones in this that immediately you just go like, oh, it's even better than you think it is. Mm-hmm. And DuckTales is for sure that. We are going on an adventure. It is going to be freaking full of hijinks, but also a little bit of mystery, a little bit of danger. And it's all right there in the theme song.
Yeah, I believe life is a hurricane.
It is. It is. And also a great show. I don't think we've ever really talked about DuckTales on the show. Maybe once or twice. What a good show.
Yeah.
What a great show. An interesting way of taking old characters and bringing them back around. The Scrooge McDuck character basically is just from the Disney version of Christmas Tale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then he swoops in and has the 3 nephews living with him. Prior to that, I don't think there was really anything with him. So it's a great show. I love it. So coming back around, just because I don't think it's going to come back to me, and because I lost Mission Impossible, I'm going to go 2 cartoons back to back, and I'm going with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ooh, okay.
Specifically, having now just spent hours listening to these, I'm going to go with the foreign language versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Of course you will.
Because they're all amazing. The the Spanish one is really good. They all have that particular flavor where it's like, oh, you leaned pretty hard into your ethnic group a little bit. But the Spanish one is really good. The Japanese one is fantastic because they even throw in like a little April O'Neil call in there where it's just a Japanese girl real quick.
Oh, yes, yes.
But the best
Japanese.
the best one is the German. The German one sounds like it was made by Rammstein, and it is f***ing fantastic. Would you guys bear with me as I play a
Absolutely.
section for you?
Absolutely. Let's spend another 4 hours listening to theme shows. Shit, I did it. Oh my God.
The German version.
Hey, jetzt kommen die Hero Turtles, super starke Hero Turtles. Jeder kennt
Hero
die
Turtles.
Turtles, immer auf der Lauer. Sie sind echt ein ultra heißes Team. Na Logo. Wenn sie gegen Angst und Schrecken ziehen, ist doch Ehrensache. Sieht's für dich mal finster aus. Die Turtle-Jungs holen dich da raus. Jeder kennt die Hero Turtles, super starke Hero Turtles. Raphael kommt Michelangelo geht ran. Da fliegt sie durch das Licht weg. Leonardo kämpft nach Donatellos Plan. Auf die Schnelle immer heller. Die Turtle-Jungs machen niemand schlau. Hey, jetzt kommt die Hero Turtles.
Alright.
Mega starke Hero Turtles, immer auf der Lauer und immer etwas schlauer.
Donatella in my Schnelle.
It is exactly what I expected. I clicked on it and was like, oh, there's no way that this isn't great.
Do the Germans not have a word for ninja?
No. So in the EU, and I thought it was just in England, but I guess it was all of EU, they could not use ninja in any of their stuff. So
Why?
Censoring. It basically was censored in Europe. I thought it was just in England, but I guess it was all of the EU. And
Did they think it was a different word?
no, basically you couldn't have assassins. Maybe just in the kids stuff, but it was ninjas were assassins, and you couldn't have that. So yeah, they had to be. So in Europe, it was the Hero Turtles. They were not the Ninja Turtles. They were the Hero Turtles. So
That's stupid.
it's very
With nunchucks and swords and sais.
Yeah.
well, I blame them. That's probably why Michelangelo loses his nunchucks in season 3. Gets like a grappling hook. Anyways, so I'm heavy on the cartoons now. Back to Scott.
Inspector Gadget.
Sticking with the theme of cartoons, which I think they just stick out so much. Give me your thoughts on Inspector Gadget.
Well, I just recently learned that the theme song was created by 2 artists. One of them is his name is Haim Saban. He's an Israeli-American media proprietor, and he has a net worth of $2.8 billion. The guy that made the Inspector Gadget theme song
Made the theme song?
Worth every penny of
is
it.
worth $2.8 billion.
Is that Saban? Is that the guy that did Power Rangers?
So the other guy, his name is Shuki Levy, and he actually made music for the Real Ghostbusters, Mask, He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, She-Ra.
Wow.
He also worked on Power Rangers and Digimon and a bunch of other things. But yeah.
Wow.
Did he make all of his money just from media?
The other guy, the guy that's worth $2.8 billion.
He has to be
He's
the guy.
a media proprietor, investor, musical composer, and producer of records, film, and television.
Okay,
So
look
there's a lot of stuff.
Look him up, because I'm pretty
I am.
sure. I'm pretty sure he's the guy that brought Power Rangers over. So Power Rangers in Japan was multiple different shows.
The founder of Saban Entertainment.
Yep, Saban Entertainment. So he went over to Japan and did the same thing that they did with like the Transformers and stuff, which is a bunch of different robots that they put together and then branded as the Transformers. With Power Rangers, he went and got a bunch of different clips from a bunch of different seasons of shows and then put them together and made the Power Rangers in the U.S. So I figured that had to have been him, but he made the theme song for Inspector Gadget, or is at least credited with it. He probably just paid for it.
Well, he changed one note and got on as a writing credit.
Sure.
Right? That's how you make billions in the music
It
industry.
says that there are 2 artists.
Interesting.
And he's one of them.
That's actually a really interesting fact. Inspector Gadget is a great theme song.
Absolutely. One of the best.
Well, in your eyes, the second best.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely. Gabe, thoughts on Inspector Gadget?
When it was added to the list last night, I'm like, I don't know. It was a decent cartoon.
Yeah.
I watched it this morning, and it's an all-time great theme song.
Yes.
Just the composition of it all, just perfect.
Yes.
You're ready to go. You're ready to watch a cartoon.
Yep.
I demand a ska version.
Oh yeah, I bet it's out there. On a regular basis, I to my littlest one, the 3-year-old, I always go, "Next time, Gadget. Next time." all the time. Gabe, back over to you. So off the board so far, and I gotta come up with a different terminology because off the board means we're selecting one that it's not on the board. But I always say off the board meaning it's been selected already. Gotta come up with a new terminology for it. But already selected, of course, we have Fresh Prince, Scott with Mission Impossible, Inspector Gadget, and myself with DuckTales and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the German version. Over to Gabe.
Yeah, you guys are leaving everything on the board for me. This is all the ones you guys think suck. I love. This is working out. I may not end up going off the board, but I mentioned I like being told what's happening. Right.
Yes.
Set the scene for me. Let's go. So I'm going with Gilligan's Island.
Oh, okay.
The Ballad of Gilligan's Isle starts off with just sit right back and you'll hear a tale.
Just sit right back.
Now this is a story.
You're about to watch a TV show.
For this tiny ship.
All right, nice.
Fun fact, created by Sherwood Schwartz.
Hang on.
Created a lot of stuff. But he also created the show and the theme song for the Brady Bunch, which starts out, here's a story, which I genuinely appreciate.
You also had that on your list of potentials. Yeah. That's fantastic. All right. Gilligan's Isle, Scott, what's your take on it?
I feel like I get it mixed up with another song.
This is the 3-hour tour.
Yeah, the 3-hour tour. Is there a Edmund Fitzgerald?
Okay.
Oh, no.
So you say that, but I recently was just on a boat cruise, like a booze cruise with Callie and her family. And before we took off, they started playing the Edmund Fitzgerald. And I was like, I raised my hand. I was like, you do realize everyone dies. And then the next song they played was Gilligan's Isle. And I was like, I said, at least everyone did not die.
Survived, yeah.
It's a fun show. Again, one of those ones that played in reruns when we were kids in syndication. And so I've seen probably every episode of it at some
Only
point.
3 seasons.
Yeah. It was not a very long running show, but just good. It was a good way of having some hijinks. I remember a lot of coconut explosives. I don't know if that was a thing or not, but in my mind, Gilligan's Island was 70% coconut explosions.
The professor was basically MacGyver.
Yeah, and Gilligan was always screwing it up. So an excellent choice. Do we know if the Wrecking Crew was involved in that? Because that feels like something the Wrecking Crew was involved in, but I don't know if they were. It sounds like it. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here on Gilligan's Island.
All right, your next pick.
Okay, since I want to talk about it, even though the greatest theme song of all time is still on the board, I'm going to go with Sopranos.
Oh,
Woke up
nice.
this morning. It's a great TV show, an all-time great TV show. And the opening line isn't telling any stories of any kind. But it says, you woke up this morning, got yourself a gun.
Yep.
And it's just the perfect theme for a New Jersey Italian mafia movie. They wake up every morning choosing violence.
Yes. Yeah.
TV show.
I did not get into that show a ton when it was originally on. I watched it later on. I loved the first, and this happens to me a lot. I loved the first season. I got a couple episodes into the second season and lost interest, but then since went back again and really enjoyed it. I think I did the same thing with Breaking Bad, where I liked the first season. I lost interest right away in the second season and then went back and was like, oh no, this is a fantastic show. But yeah, The Sopranos, it's just really, really good. And I agree. I think it sets up the show perfectly into where things are going. So Scott, you are up. We're moving quick.
I find the Sopranos theme song to be a dud. It's one of my duds.
Okay, really? Well, if you didn't watch it though,
Perhaps.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah. If you didn't watch it, you don't have the
Look, if I
connection
didn't
with-
watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I'm still bopping to that song.
Okay, all right.
Somebody
all right.
throws on the Sopranos theme song, it's just another song.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's
But it set the tone for the show.
Yeah, it's not a head bopper. It's just an iconic. Because on our list is Curb Your Enthusiasm. Curb Your Enthusiasm isn't something that I'm like, oh man, play it again, Sam.
Put it on repeat.
No, it just lets
You
me
guys
know.
have not worked in the kitchen with me, because I would absolutely put that on repeat.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I was working in the bar and I got to work, and evidently every hour on the hour they had played Da Dip from Freak Nasty. The waitresses would go in and play it because then it would play in the kitchen as well. And so all day long, every hour on the hour, they had been playing it. And I was like, oh, this is my kind of humor. And so I immediately got involved in that, and we played it every hour. So for the entire time that restaurant was open, The Dip came on every hour on the hour.
My kind of hijinks.
What do you got here, though, Scott, since you're not going to? This is your third selection?
So, in keeping with what we have just been talking about, I'm going off the board.
Okay, all right.
And I am going with Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science guy.
For anyone that was in school in the 90s, iconic beyond belief, because anytime the TV rolled into class, 76% chance Bill Nye the Science Guy happening.
Bill.
You could be in English class and the TV would roll in and you were watching some science.
Absolutely. So there on YouTube, you can look up songs and just type 10 hours at the end of it. And they will play songs for 10 hours. And I will do that to torture the people that I work with sometimes.
So is it the whole song or is it just
It is
Bill?
not the whole song. This version of the Bill Nye the Science Guy theme song that you can find on YouTube is just the part where they are saying, Bill. And it just plays forever. But the bass line that's charging the whole thing through is fantastic. I could listen to that all day long. And I was doing that before I came over here today. I put it on and I said to the girl that was doing prep work for me, I said, first one to dip out some pussy. And it stayed on until I had to leave. So I had to grab my phone and turn it off, and she looked at me and she called me a pussy.
And rightfully so.
Oh, man. That would have been out within a minute.
I left at about 1:25. I think I put that thing on at probably about 10:30.
Oh, man.
Like 3 hours. Bill.
And it just kept going? No. That's that's a lawsuit.
That's an unfair labor practice.
That's one of the things that I would put on my list of potential war crimes.
Yeah.
That's against the Geneva Convention, I'm pretty sure.
I was just going to say that evidently the Bill Nye character was something that he actually developed because he was doing stand-up comedy and then went and did improv. And so he developed it that way, and then it went on to become a show. I didn't know that we were using it to try and get sued by our employees.
Come to find out that the guy who made the song was a math teacher your former math teacher turned musician, composer, whatever, and he actually based the song off of Oingo Boingo,
Okay.
which is Danny Elfman's
Yeah,
band.
yeah.
And Danny Elfman has written
Countless.
theme songs for countless things. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, Danny Elfman's a weird one because you think that you've got him pegged for like a certain song, sound, but then all of a sudden I look up the Mission Impossible one and there's his name on it. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I had no idea. So, okay, I'll accept it, but not the Bill version.
Well,
I'll accept
no.
it. Okay.
That's a bridge too far.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I have DuckTales and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I would love to just stick with cartoons myself. I had a goal initially. If I was going to get Mission Impossible, I wanted to go really heavy on horns because I freaking love theme songs with horns. So I was going to go try and stick in that range, but then Scott just threw me for a loop right away. I love things by the Wrecking Crew. I love that there's just that wall of sound, Phil Spector, that stuff. I just really like that kind of sound. One of the things I said before we make our last selection, we are going, or no, this is only my third one. So I do have to make one first here. So I'm going to go on the board first, and I am going to select, in honor of my son Maverick, I'm going to select The Office.
Damn. That was going to be my next pick.
It's a pretty good theme song. I would say that now it would be right up there with like Friends or with some of those other ones from that came in later.
No, The Office was good.
No, I mean theme songs. Theme songs that like just stick, right? I think
Friends wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but it's also a song, right? You just use the
Right,
song.
right.
So I don't think that counts as much, i.e. Sopranos. But The Office is just beyond iconic. And once Netflix started streaming and it was on there, then like my son probably would have watched The Office and probably has watched it 3 times now. My daughter's the same way. So it is always on in our house. And the thing about streaming like that is that every episode that starts, it's going. So if he sits there and binges for a couple hours, on the couch on a Saturday, you just hear that song over and over and over again. And so for me, it's just become iconic as like a Sunday when there's not football. My kid's on the couch and he's watching The Office. And so I just keep hearing it again and again and again. So that's my selection for that. Great pick. Thoughts on The Office?
Well, it was my next pick, so I think it's pretty good.
Great television show. I wouldn't select the theme song as all that iconic.
Okay. Well, I mean, it again sets the tone. There's no words needed. It's just telling us that, we're in an office, I guess. Okay. I disagree. I think it is. I think of the list, it was my third selection. All right, so now I am on my last choice here, and beforehand we had said that before we make our last selection, we're going to throw out an honorable mention. And so I've got a long list of ones that I really enjoy, and I don't know for sure which one I'm going to pick here, but one of the ones I wanted to pick, because again, I like that horns, that Wrecking Crew, Bonanza. I freaking think that's just a super iconic song.
The only reason I know the Bonanza theme song is because of the movie The Pest.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Let's talk super fast about, because The Pest is an awful movie that I love.
Look, 1997's coming up.
Yes, and we can talk about it. But I do want to say just real fast that we're a little bit behind on our videos, and we've been doing our shorts that go with those on all of our social media stuff. And before the weekend started, I told Gabe, I said, we're going to go negative this weekend. I'm going to just post a bunch of us talking videos and see how it goes. And they went pretty well. And then I posted a video about the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and you would have thought that I murdered people's children. There are people out there that feel very strongly about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, and I'm going to double down. It's fucking awful. That movie's terrible. And I know you like it. I get it. I know you like it. But it doesn't make it good just because you like it. I liked the movie The Pest. That movie's fucking terrible. In the grand scheme of things, that movie's terrible. Ski Patrol is one of my all-time favorite movies that I have watched a million times. People have let me know multiple times in my life that movie's fucking awful. I disagree. However, it doesn't change the fact that it probably is fucking awful. So, if you're out there and you were offended by me saying that Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie sucks, tough, because it fucking sucks. All right, so my honorable mention is
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
No.
Because the TV show was great.
My honorable mention is going to be Murder, She Wrote.
Whoa.
I like me some Murder, She Wrote, mainly because our grandma used to watch it all the freaking time.
Yeah, that was Grandma's The Office.
Yeah, it was Grandma's The Office. So much like my son, always having it on, I just remember that theme song a lot. That's why it's an honorable mention and not my selection. However, the other show that she watched all the time was The Golden Girls, and my off-the-board selection is The Golden Girls. I love me the freaking Golden Girls theme song.
I have no idea what it
We'd have to listen to it.
Oh, yes, you do.
Thank you for
Yeah, come on.
Travel down
classic.
back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you
The show is better than it should be. I will say that. It's a better show than it should be. But again, you want to talk about setting things up. You want to talk about a story right away. Yeah, we're real good friends. So much so that you throw a party, you're going to have a gift. Biggest one, it's coming from me. Just let you know what's happening. Golden Girls off the board.
It sounds like a Charmin commercial.
A little bit. It does sound a little bit like a Charmin commercial. We just played it a second ago so that these clowns could hear it. And I'll admit that when it kicked on, I was like, oh no, I've made a huge mistake. But I stand by
Yeah,
it.
just throw in a Nationwide is on your side at the end of that. We'll call her good.
Thank you for buying our insurance.
I stand by my selection, Golden Girls. All right. Scott, you are up for your final selection.
OMG. What did I see? I still have Roundball Rock on my list here. What did
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb in place of that?
Well, since you said that, let's chat real quick. Roundball Rock was on the list. We've already talked about it in a previous episode, so we removed it off. However, it was a placeholder for all sports theme music because there's some bangers out there.
Like Roundball Rock.
Roundball Rock is it is the best. It is the pinnacle. But Monday Night Football, the Fox sports themes, the Olympics, Sports Center, all just banger of tunes that just get you going. And again, letting you know what you're about to partake when they come on. But yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm was in their place. Scott, what do you got?
I couldn't tell you what the Coach theme song is.
It's a marching band.
It's just a marching band. But again,
It's heavy on the horns. Dave was going to draft it, but you screwed his strategy up.
you ruined. I was gonna go all horns.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Cheers.
Nice.
I think that's gonna have to be the one.
I knew the Gabe was gonna go on to Cheers there, so that's a good selection there in my book.
You can have Coach.
You didn't do an honorable mention. I called his pick
Oh, do
null
I
and
need
void.
an honorable mention?
Null and
sorry.
void.
Sorry, honorable mention, Fraggle Rock.
Oh, excellent honorable mention. Jim Henson. I don't think of all the things that he created, that one doesn't get enough praise now. Like it doesn't get looked back on enough.
Completely forgotten.
Yeah, what a great little world you created. Sub levels of this world as well. It's like there's the human, the dog that interacts. There's these gigantic beings that are in the one little section, but then there's the little tiny dudes. A lot of layers to the Fraggle Rock.
I loved that show as a kid. I think I saw one episode, but I loved that show. To this day, I'm like, I love Fraggle Rock. Oh, what's your favorite episode? I don't know.
The one I saw.
I think I saw one episode one time.
The one where they get chased by the dog and there's
Yeah.
doozers.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
All right, so you honorable mention Fraggle Rock, but your selection was Cheers, and let me hear a little bit about Cheers.
I'm going to be honest with you. I can't remember what it sounds like, but I know the second I hear it, I'm going to know it and know that I love it. Give me two words. If there
Where
are
everybody
words.
knows your name.
Yeah.
That's the title of
Yeah,
the
sorry.
song.
I'm overwhelmed by selections here.
There's a lot of selections happening. It is the right choice though. So
I almost went Cheers 1-1 first overall. It is my favorite theme song of all time.
I knew you were waiting for it to come back to you. I was waiting for you to pull the trigger on it though. Yeah, I will say in terms of Cheers, right up there for Gabe's philosophy, where you're telling the story.
People are just trying to escape for a couple hours, hang out with friends.
And don't you want to be where everyone knows your name? Isn't that where you want to be? Isn't that where you want to be?
No.
Well, but where they all know your name and they're always glad you came.
Yeah, they're always
Yeah,
glad you
okay.
came. Yeah. You don't want to just be. That's Scott.
I know that guy.
Scotty Pizza over there. All right, Gabe, bring us home. First, your honorable mention. And I've got a couple here that I'm actually really irritated that I didn't go with, but what's your honorable mention?
Honorable mention is a little song titled Little Boxes from the TV show called Weeds.
Okay.
Written in 1962 by some hippie.
I didn't know that.
She was driving through the suburbs in some of these tract housing developments and thought like everybody was selling their soul to be conformists. That's why they're all little boxes that all look just the same and made out of ticky-tacky and all these conformists. Be original.
That makes it way better because I was about to rip on your selection hard because I was like, that fucking song sucks.
That song is awesome.
But if it's an old song and that time frame,
in 62, like the original suburb protest song.
yes. In 62, when everyone was moving out into fields, essentially, where there were no trees, there was nothing.
And all the houses were identical.
Literally identical. Yeah, I had no idea about that. That's actually pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan of the show Weeds. And there's a lot of these out there. There's another one that Callie watches on Netflix, I think it is, where there's a group of moms that are selling drugs or doing shit they shouldn't do. They always get to a point where it's like, you can only do that for so long. You can only sell drugs to teenagers before people catch the fuck on.
In Weeds' defense, they were like the first to do it.
Sure.
Right? But you're right. There's about 3 excellent seasons. And then when she starts overpowering the cartel, it's just stupid.
Yeah, she starts fucking the president of Mexico or some shit. And it's like,
Something like
okay. Ticky-tacky houses selling drugs to teenagers to
Out of a fake bakery. Yeah, that all makes sense. Buying the city council to not have the... Yep, okay. Running the cartel.
You probably shouldn't admit that it's believable that you can buy the city council.
Well, hey, listen,
I believe Councilman Doug lost re-election, so she didn't successfully buy them.
should toss it out because I had forgot about that. Kevin Nealon, excellent part of that show. I'm a huge Kevin Nealon fan. So, great selection there. I appreciate it. The selections for Gabe.
Oh, that was my...
That's just
that
the
was your
honorable
honorable
mention.
mention. Okay, good choice. All right, good.
So I'm going to go with the one I spent way too much time researching, even though I probably want to go with Curb, but I'm going to go with Full House
Oh, nice.
for the final pick.
I would argue Full House is the representative of all TGI Friday songs. Or is it just TGI? TGI.
It
TGIF.
absolutely
TGIF.
is. But it was, it's much like the Cheers song, but instead of going to hang out with friends and having all good feelings, it's you're with your family. Your family's got your back. Everywhere you look is the title of the song. It's everywhere you look, somebody's there to support you. Oh, so feel good. But, back to you.
Oh,
Back
I felt that.
Back to your TGIF. It was composed by Jesse Frederick and Bennett Salvi. They also composed Perfect Strangers,
That's hilarious.
Family Matters, Step by Step,
of course
Hanging
they
with
did.
Mr. Cooper.
Told you.
And then later, Fuller House. They brought in Carly Rae Jepsen to redo Full House.
I told you they're all the same.
Oh,
song,
yeah.
and they're all bangers.
Yep.
I will say Perfect Strangers is probably my favorite.
That was their first.
It's probably my favorite. Not show, but theme song of that group. And then Step by Step is right up there. And then Family Matters as well. Like we're just going strong. You get a good feeling of what you're about to partake in all of that. But Full House, I think, is the top of that list.
Yeah. I think it's the most recognizable.
Yeah. In terms of viewership and then the amount of nostalgia for it. I would say a great selection. A great selection. So that puts Gabe with Fresh Prince, Gilligan's Island, The Sopranos, and Full House.
Holy shit. Those are all first round picks.
It's quite a list. It's making me feel bad about my last selection. I think I did this last time.
You do this
too.
every single time. Every single time we do a draft, you read back what we picked, and you're like, God, I suck.
I do suck. Well, I always go last, and then I just kind of give them.
You get the turn.
I do get the turn, but once I lost Mission Impossible, which was Scott's first selection, Mission Impossible, Inspector Gadget, Bill Nye, and Cheers, which is also very strong. Very strong. I started off really strong with DuckTales and TMNT, and then got weird and got nostalgia for my family, which is weird that I didn't pick Full House because then I went with The Office and ended up with Golden Girls, which I'm disappointed because here's the list I had for.
You got 2 B's, an A, and a C.
DuckTales is top tier. I'm sorry. DuckTales is right
It's
at the
pretty
top.
good.
Mission
It's
Impossible
good.
was A. DuckTales was A2. There may have been a space in there in between. But so I had Murder, She Wrote, Golden Girls, Carmen Sandiego, which we had already talked about, Bonanza. The one I really wanted to go with was Magnum P.I. I had that. That's just a good one. No words, though. So it, to me, drags it down just a notch. Another one with no words that I should have went with, and I didn't, it was Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so iconic that it has just been copied now.
Well, they copied The Sopranos on the
Well-
overly long musical intro to the show.
I will say that, but now if you watch any show that is trying to kind of have that feel, they all do the same thing. You know, I was just watching Yellowstone. Yellowstone is trying so hard to have a Game of Thrones intro. But anyways, I also had Fraggle Rock Gummy Bears, which is a banger from the Disney afternoon. The A-Team, which Gabe had mentioned. And then the correct answer for me on the turn was Unsolved Mysteries. What am I doing in my life? You want to talk about sitting at Grandma's? There are 3 shows that were on at Grandma's, and it was Murder, She Wrote, The Golden Girls, and Unsolved Mysteries, and I went with The Golden Girls? Fail. I wanted so bad to push play on that and just have it hit hard. I pushed play on that and immediately thought, what a freaking joke. Anyways, how do you feel? Let's go.
Well, I got a couple more that I was going to bring up off the board and didn't. You know, a couple from PBS, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yes.
Sesame Street.
Yes.
Sesame Street goes hard.
Yes.
Great theme song. And then for more recent years, Phineas and Ferb.
Oh,
Great song. I like it when you tell me what's happening.
Yeah.
They started out 104 days of summer vacation before school comes along to ruin it.
yep.
Here's what we're going to do.
Yep.
And that's what they do. It's perfect.
I absolutely agree as well. There's one more cartoon that I would throw in there, SpongeBob.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. He lives in a pineapple under the sea.
Literally, just tells you right what's going to happen. If nautical nonsense is something you wish, fucking go. So we may have screwed our list up. I think we'll come back and draft just cartoons someday because I think kids shows have some of the most memorable ones. I wanted to go with Miami Vice because it just seems so iconic, and I was in that vibe, and I really like that kind of style, that synth wave like we talked about. But I will argue, not a great theme song. Not a great theme song. It's iconic in that it was different, and the intro is cool because it's all these butts and cigarette boats and all, you know, flamingos and all this stuff makes you feel like you're in Miami. But the song itself is not great, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Scott, what else did you have maybe for an extra one?
Hey Arnold.
Oh, yeah.
Hey Arnold is a fabulous. I wanted to go with that one for my off the board pick, but Bill Nye was sitting there. I couldn't pick Hey Arnold over Bill Nye.
It's true.
Do yourself a favor and just look up the ska cover on YouTube of the Hey Arnold theme song, and you're welcome.
Yeah, that's Scott for you right there. All right, so everybody's pretty happy with their selections.
Except for you.
Well, I'm very happy until, you know, in the office is just kind of poking me in the eye a little bit too there. Just a little bit. That last selection there were too many good ones off the board. I'll admit to you, Scott, once we got going and you took Mission Impossible, my view of our selections just greatly diminished because I was like, I don't know where I'm going now.
Yeah, I mean, you were left with The Sopranos and Coach, and I mean,
No, he was left with Full House,
Yes.
Cheers,
yeah, right.
Yeah, there were plenty of good ones.
and he went Golden Girls.
There were plenty. I did do that. I did do that. I stand by it though. If you play that
doesn't
song,
sound like you do.
play that song one time in your house, and you're gonna be singing it for the rest of the night. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Gabe, I think you might be gone next week. So if you are,
Game time decision.
game time decision. I'm going to have a couple things squared away, and we will be back with Bill Satry, Wild Bill from B93 and Cool 103.5. He will be back on with us, and if Gabe can make it, he will be here. If you're gone, we'll just do a hot swap. It'll be the three of us. And that'll determine whether or not we play a game. I don't want to play a game with just the three of us, so we might switch up what we do. But if Bill Satry will be here, we're either playing a game or doing a hot swap onto something else.
Yeah, we could just listen to him talk about bananas.
Just listen to him talk about banana. I love Bill so much.
I greatly prefer the flavor of current day bananas
Then
to the olden day bananas.
if that's what bananas tasted like, get me out of here. Okay? Every once in a while, you get a little hint of that flavor somewhere in your banana, but I completely agree. If that's what we were eating back then, get them out of here. I want nothing to do with them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Again, we are coming up on 1996, correct?
Yeah, 1996 is the year that Sinbad did a New Year's Eve special.
Where he blew up a building?
In 1997.
All right, and with that, we're done.